How many hours do you put a day into a fighting game to be good at it? You know, this is the craziest he's ever played, huh? You know, I can see why we would feel that because that was like his big Evo win was his big like a huge win for him. But you know, New York King Blue. I will say as much as it's not about the amount of hours that you put into it, but it's about um, how many conscious, how those hours matter, right? So for me personally, as a commentator, what these hours do for me as a commentator is that when I sit here and I commentate over these matches and I do analysis really quick, it gets me to be a better thinker and it gets me the ability to sit and reflect on the decisions that the players are making on screen. Now, obviously, when I am not going to have this ability to sit and pause and wait for my moment in order for me to sort of make analysis while I'm there, right? I can only do that like during certain key breaks in the match. But what I'm doing here is that I'm sort of breaking down the game, and that way I can understand if these situations happen again, then I'll be more prepared to talk about them. Similarly to a player, that these are things that you can do for yourself using your own game. So one of the things that I want to do later on is I actually want to record a first to whatever with a friend in a game, and then I want to go over it and reflect upon my own gameplay. It's going to be me getting beat up a shit ton, but it is a way for me to reflect on my game and then try to get better at it, right? Same thing here. This is a lot what I do at home before I started streaming on a regular. This is a lot what I did at home. I just sit, look at the game, try to break it down. I talk to myself a lot, actually. And then I try to break down the game and try my best to figure out what these players are doing, what is going through their head at any given moment. And that way, I'm improving as a commentator. So what I'm saying is that, like, when I'm doing, let's take somebody else. Like, let's say there is a commentator who is spending the same amount of hours as me, but what he's doing is that he's just looking over match footage. He's just watching match footage. And yeah, that's helpful. But me going over this would be probably a total of an hour 15 of match footage, all things considered, when we get done with this. Me going in and dissecting little bits of it is going to be more beneficial for me than it is if I just watched it over and over. So I think what you can do for yourself is that you feel like you're not getting any benefit from just playing constantly. Think about other avenues that could help you make more use of your time. How about instead of playing let's say instead of playing a first to 20 versus someone, how about play a first to 5 versus them? Record it in some way, shape, or form if you have the ability to, and then go over it with that person and just go, hey, what did you think about this first to 5? What were you thinking in these situations? That can be so much more beneficial for you than playing a first to 20 against someone, then just be like, all right, good games, and then you book it, right? Yeah, 111 brings up also a good point. There is times where you can focus on things where you can it can really help you. So like for Tekken specifically, what I do a lot is I will do things like, today I am going to work on only putting sidestep into my game. And so I will obviously drop some things, like I'll drop some combos. I will, get hit by some other things. But if I can work the sidestep into my game, then later on, when I am focusing on the game as its whole, I already know how to play that style, or I know how to play with that tool, so I don't have to focus on it. I already know how to play against it. You know what I should do one time is I should actually record like a first to 5 or something and then go over it on stream. like do my own self-analysis of my game. If I think that might be pretty beneficial. Something similar to like what Bronson and MYK did, but with a lot less of the bullshit. But I think yeah, I might do that one time. But yeah, that's what I would say to you personally is that don't do exactly what I'm saying technically. But I think what you should do is maybe look at the time that you're spending with the game, playing it, and think about how better you can optimize your time. Whether it be focus on something per day, or maybe it could be that you need to play more of a certain matchup. Just, sort of look at the time that you're spending and try to optimize the time. Because I know so many people that just go online, they play for 5 hours, and they go, I didn't get any better. What the fuck? Right? And it's like, the reason why you didn't get any better is because during those 5 hours, not a moment did you take for introspection. You might have learned matchups. Yes, you might have. And there might have been times that in certain situations, you might have learned something new. Right. But in those 5 hours, I could have broken down a 30-minute match and I would have learned so much more about a matchup, about a character, et cetera, et cetera. So I guess in the end, what I would say is that what I would say is not specifically any one of the things that I said is what you should do, but more than that, you can look at the time that you're spending on the game and how to maximize it. And I think actually when you do that, you will realize that you don't have to spend as much time getting better at fighting games as you think you do. You know, like look at my I'm doing like the Learning Ana series. I spent 1 day learning her moveset. Spent a second day making a game plan. Spent the third day doing online matches. And I spent fourth and fifth day just off-site, like offline, practicing with friends and then asking them questions and then trying to figure out how to play with the character. This is a way you can build up knowledge on how to play and learn. When you already learn a character, you can skip the first 2 parts and then obviously work upon that. Things like that.